Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. Today we are starting our avatar cycle and journey to mastering all elements all over again. Anyway, welcome to TBRvatar March edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new, welcome. If you've not heard about a TBRvatar, TBR aka to be read, aka picking books that you want to read that month, game to make it a little bit more exciting. I created a board game that is inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, so there's elements of that in there. I will leave all of the videos linked down below, which also one of them includes a link to download the digital copy of the board as well as the designs for the TBR cards, if you want to play along. If you want to be notified when I upload, because YouTube has been a little bit dodgy recently, there's always the bell button and, you know, subscribing and all that stuff. So let's talk a little bit about how February has gone. In February, I had 4 prompts instead of... Oh, Zeus is coming that way. Oh, hiding things. My February TBR actually had 4 books instead of 5 because I reached the Avatar state with 4, which actually worked out brilliantly for the first time ever. Ladies and gents and friends, for the first time ever, I've read all of the books in my TBR. Avatar. So I've managed to get all of these done, and if there was a 5th one, I'm pretty sure I would not have squeezed that in. So it all worked out beautifully. So let me just go through what I thought of each very quickly. This is gonna be my official wrap-up. I decided to probably not do them separately. Is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. This is a picture book that might look like it's for children, but really is kind of ageless. You don't have to be a particular age to enjoy and benefit from these stories. They're all about self-care and doubts and fears, but it's in a very easily consumable... There's just a couple of sentences and some pictures and his artwork in the stories. It's not even like very continuous, so you can kind of open wherever you want and read it front to back, middle to left, whichever way you want. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'm on the level of extreme love that a lot of the people that I know fell into. However, I very much understand where that would come from. I agree that this is very soul-huggy. They're beautiful. I think especially... absolutely, kids are absolutely not a prerequisite for this, but I do feel like if you have kids, this is a beautiful activity you can have together as a parent, and that could be a very beautiful moment. So I think it's just like an extra little bit of wholesomeness. I think it's around like 4 out of 5. It's hard to rate something like this. So this was for a book you think will be uplifting or comforting prompt. It did not have a respin option to fulfill, so there we go. Next up, we have Take a Hint, Dani Brown. This is a second book by this author that I've read. The first one was Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and as many of you probably know, I really liked that one. I was very surprised by how much I related to the character. Bear in mind, I do not read to relate. There's nothing wrong with reading to relate. It's just not the type of reader that I am. So it took me by a big surprise. I was a little bit nervous as well because it has a chronic pain representation, and I was a little bit worried with the title that it sounded like they're gonna push the character to the extent that will make me feel even worse about my life, which is a big issue that I have already because my health limits what I can and cannot do on an hourly basis. But I was very pleasantly surprised. I think it was done pretty well, and there's also themes of depression, and with all of that, there was also a lot of fun and very steamy scenes, because these are romance novels at heart, and this is following Dani Brown, the second sister. I actually found, again, a lot of things to relate to the character for. For example, Dani is an extreme workaholic and struggles to take breaks, and a lot of things suffer because of that. And also from her side as well, a topic that we tackle is a past relationship baggage that you kind of take on. From Zaf's point of view, we have grief and anxiety. I will say that I think I personally enjoyed the first one a little bit more. I was a little bit less invested in this one, I think, particularly because I think there was a tiny bit of repetitiveness, and I think the biggest maybe qualm that I had was the level of predictability of the story. So because of that, my intrigue was a little bit lower, because there was no way anything will surprise me plot-wise about this book. Again, this is not necessarily a book you would read for a plot reason, but even then, again, this had a couple of very steamy scenes, so don't get fooled by this very YA looking cover. This is an adult book. For sure, the main characters are in their 30s, at least Zaf is. I'm not quite sure about Danny, but she is a PhD student. Zaf is someone who has a kind of like a mental health club or support group for kids that play rugby, which I think is really cool as well, the sports and the masculinity and the emotional side of the addressing the mental health there as well. So I really enjoyed that. I actually liked Zaf much more than I liked Red from the previous book. So the romance interest, the character I liked better. I think it was the plot and the way that we did this. This is a fake relationship to real relationship kind of trope. And I just, I don't know. I was not as enthralled by it as I was with the other one. The other one I was struggling to put down. So, but I still really enjoyed it. It came out as a 3-star, and I will still be reading Evie's books. The main character is also bisexual, so there's that too. I did not, however, meet the extra spin prompt, which was a thriller mystery, so this was as far from mysterious as you can go. As The Poppy War. This book, however, when I started with part 1, which obviously is a big chunk of the book, I think there's only 3 parts in the book. The first part was 5 stars through and through. I could not stop reading this from the moment I picked it up. It has a magical school setting, so you know I was very excited about that, but not even that, but I really enjoyed reading and living through the main character. This is about an orphan who's being raised by the aunt and uncle and is working in this little corner shop. Aunt actually sets up a marriage for her, and she really wants to do whatever she can to avoid that. So she trains with this tutor to get into this elite school, and she makes some enemies, and some of these enemies then turn kind of friends, and in the way that it was done, I loved it. The whole setting, the whole training and the tournaments there, and Jahang, oh my god, the tutor, I loved him so much. I love him. And then we have the change of the setting in a very big way, but not only do we change the setting, we also change kind of like the main cast, which I think if we only change the setting, I still would have and continue to enjoy it on a 5-star level. But because we also changed the characters, and I really got used to especially some that I'm not gonna mention now. I don't want to like spoil anything. It took me a little bit to get through that part, and then I think my enjoyment just dwindled a tiny bit. But overall, I still really loved it. It came out as a 4-star, and I will definitely continue with the second one. Whilst I understood every single decision that the main character took, and it has proper reasons behind it, did not make it less frustrating sometimes to see her make the same mistakes over and over and over. So there was that too. So there were a couple of things that were a little bit frustrating. Some of them very intentional though. Like it's supposed to be frustrating. And I'm really excited to get to the second one. I think I need to be a little bit in the mood for this. Like, I don't think I'm currently in the mood for that, so I'm gonna wait until I am, because I don't want to ruin the thing for myself. Contemporary, which again, does this not fit? So, and then lastly, I read Ascender, which I can't find my card for, so that's a bit sad. But Ascender is a continuation to Descender comics that have come to conclusion. There are 6 volumes of those, and this is the first volume in the continuation, which is like kind of like 10 years later story. This then dwells a little bit further from the sci-fi that we come to know in the first chunk of the story, and this is coming a bit closer to fantasy. There's vampires. Things got really quite weird here, and I'm not quite sure if I'm liking it. So I gave it 3 stars. This is the type of artwork that we have. Did really enjoy this relationship though, happy to see that. But overall, not quite sure. I feel kind of lukewarm. I think Logan liked it better than I did. Plot-wise so far is pretty similar to how Descender happened, because Descender we had people chasing after a robot boy. Ascender we see people chasing after a human girl. So I just rewatched the previous video. I didn't have a card for this one because this was my reward. I just chose what I wanted to because I reached the avatar state. So that works out fine. So for restarting a brand new avatar cycle, I do start with 4 steps already in. Let's go and take you towards the board and do the first spin. I seem to have spotted a rat. Who this? Okay, so actually I should probably tell you that I've added extra bits and included just more things. So in total, in the whole board, 4 or 5 extra cabbage pots. So chances are we're gonna have a bigger relationship with that. As much as I love the cards, I found that there was a lot of empty tiles, so nothing extra would happen, which I think I've decided to change it up, hopefully. You totally don't have to in your own, but if you want to, you can just draw on top of that. But there's also a couple more. So there is, for example, the South Pole, which I'm very happy to say will be a pole option, like with the 2 L's. I think I'm funny. This is the extra cabbage pot. Then we have another extra cabbage pot, as well as Ba Sing Se, which would be impenetrable fortress, so a tome, book over 500 pages. Then we have another cabbage pot, as well as the Southern Air Temple, which would be a hidden gem. So I'm thinking of books that are not as well known. I've not decided about an amount of the reviews on Goodreads. What would be a good one? Would you think like under 20,000, under 10,000 reviews or something like that? I don't know. Let me know what you think would be a good number. Then we have the Dancing Dragon here, which would be a Kindle book. So a book on the Kindle, get it? Fire, kindling. As well as a extra cabbage pot. I might add even more stuff later, I'm not quite sure, but this is what we're working with. So as I said, we start off the board and then go 4 tiles up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Start over here. So a 2 will land us on a cabbage pot, a 4 on a South Pole, and everything else would be just a card. A 4. Okay, so that's on the South Pole. Interesting. Well, at least we avoided that. That's gonna be quite fun. Okay, you know what I've decided? It is time for me to attempt middle grade once again. If you don't know, I've not had much luck, but I've not given it a proper go really either. And I've been really kind of feeling the call for like a magic school setting. So we're gonna try one of those. So I have 3 options for you. I will hopefully... If YouTube still does polls, it's been so long, I don't even know. If YouTube still does polls, I will pop it here for you guys to vote. If not, I will put it on Instagram. So we have Keeper of the Lost Cities, and then we also have Nevermore. So these are the 2 options that I have. However, a third option in my mind, which is this book. I've heard so many good things from a couple of people that I trust, and I don't own this one, but the game says that if it's picked, I'll buy it. So it's all good. So these are the 3 options. They're all middle grade, as I said. They all feature some type of school magic system, and it's all obviously very adventurous. I honestly have no idea which one you will pick, and I don't even know which one I want to read most. So I'll leave it up to you. Why should I work when you could work for me? Okay, spin number 2. Okay, anything exciting that can happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be great because we would move further. 6, 7, 8. Other than that, it's gonna be a card. Okay, 5. Come on. Come on, game. Let's start strong. Okay, 7. It's not too bad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we take a card. I've added all of the old cards apart from last month's cards from mine and Logan's because technically this is a new round, so repeats are allowed even though we're far from having had experienced all of them. Jiatsu, pick any book you're in the mood for. Hey. I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to put in the Patreon Mooney read for the month of March, which is 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is like a Groundhog Day type of scenario where we are kind of reincarnated, I think, as well in a different person each time we are reborn to solve this murder. It is a murder mystery as well. It's quite a big book, to be honest. I have used it as one of those books to squash the other books when I was in my painting the book edges stages, which I know I said I'm gonna paint them all, but I clearly very much didn't. So I need to actually find it because I stored the ones that I used to like squish other things somewhere in one of those boxes. So I need to get that out. It's funny because these boxes are holding the TV on one side because we're just bougie like this. But this would normally be a prompt for a sci-fi. However, I just not gonna get a respin. I'm gonna use this because I'm afraid that it's not gonna fit into some other prompts or something. So, okay, spin number 3. Okay, what fun can we have? If we stand here, it's a genre spin, so that's a 2. 4 is a cabbage pod. F5 is tear bending, and then nothing for the rest of that. That is okay. Maybe an 8 would be nice. Bastard is right on the line. Okay, well, let's respin. You're joking me. Shit. Okay. Okay, Cabbage Pot, we meet again. I don't know why I'm surprised because I've added 4 or 5 cabbage pots to the board, so this shouldn't be surprising, but I'm so nervous because I'm so afraid I'm gonna get something. Obviously, I can still DNF the books and I don't get punished by that. Don't get awarded by that, but I don't get punished for it. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh, what if it's something that I'm totally not in the mood to read? I'm actually really nervous, which is so ridiculous. I shouldn't be nervous, but you scare me. I also should really redo this. Oh, also I should probably tell you that bitch does not have her life together, so the recent haul is still not in the cabbage pot because they're not in the shelves, they're not scanned, they're not written on the paper slips, whatever. So we're gonna get from the old books, but that's also fine. There's definitely plenty of them to be here. I also really need to rewrite these because they're like properly cardboard and they are hurting my hand currently. Okay, please, 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 something. I will cry if this is like a massive book. You check first. I can't read backwards. Wayfarer novella. What's Wayfarer? Oh, wait. Listen. This is like the best case scenario. Oh, actually, I don't know. Wait, let me get them. I don't know if you can read a novella. It's called To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers because I think it was marked as like 3.5 and I've not read the 3rd book yet. But the books themselves can be read separately. They're like in the same kind of like family. You can read them separately. So I'm hoping that you can read this. Otherwise, I probably will just stick this one onto the TBR, but it is obviously significantly longer. So if you read it, I'm gonna Google either way, but if you read it and you know it, let me know if I can read this without having read that yet. Lucky. I mean, this was in my TBR recently, I just did not get to read it. So it's fine either way. This was a very gentle, thank you, Cabbage Pod. We're friends now. Please don't come up again. Honestly, I'm so happy. I was so scared. I don't know why. Like, I know it's just a game. Why is this already so... It's too exciting. So 1 would be terrible. Terrible, because we would go back. 7 would be a genre spin, and everything else is just a normal card. A 6. At least it's not a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A normal tile. I guess I do know why I was nervous about the cabbage pot because even with the prompts, I can at least have some type of control. Even with the poll, like I can decide what goes on the poll. With the cabbage pot, it's all just up to the cabbages. Prompt number 4. The Blue Spirit. Read a blue book. I want an extra point if it is a mystery thriller. I think I know what I want. I want to read The One because the TV show actually came out and I really, really want to read the book before I watch the TV show. And it's mainly white. Actually, I'll just pop the picture here what I'm doing. It's mainly white, but it does have blue around the edges. So, because I was thinking of from my memory because I have this on Kindle and I was thinking, oh, that's like a light blue cover. We're gonna count it because, then I also get a respin, so I think that's a plan. It's like a utopian thriller, it's a sci-fi thriller where they have this ability to have a swap of you and then match you with the perfect soulmate, like it's all scientifically proven and whatnot, but then I think we follow like 5 couples or 5 people who all have like massive secrets. And I'm not quite sure, but I just really want to read it. Okay, last one. Actually, I'm getting a little bit intimidated by this TBR, not gonna lie. Let's go do the last one. Can we just celebrate for a second that I've moved already into the earth? That's pretty impressive. Okay, so if we get one, we spin for a genre. 2, 3, 4, 5 to respin. Oh god, 6. I might get Cabbage pot again. 7, 8 is fine. Oh god, okay. And it's on 6. Sometimes it goes back to the same number because I clearly spin with the same ferocity. Okay, let's see. 8. Oh, nice. Or is that 4? No, it's an 8. Yay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. I really should have checked before putting the novella into Cabbage Pot if I can read it, because now I'm a little bit afraid that there's some chunky books. Even I think the one is like 400 pages, which I mean, like, it's normal, but it's still a lot to me. Okay, let's see. Prompt number 5. I'm hoping to put in something like a comic, because we don't have any of those yet. Read a book with one-word title. And that is fire and mystery thriller, but we're gonna look for a comic. We're so looking for a one-word comic. Let me go. Oh, Rat Queens doesn't fit. I was kind of wanting Rat Queens, but I can maybe squeeze that in regardless. Doubtful. Let's go with this. So of course I'm gonna pick the thickest, the thickest comic I own maybe. Unless this is a graphic novel. I'm not sure. But this is Die from my recent haul, which is like what I understand is like a more cruel, more high risk Jumanji, and that excites me a lot. Has some amazing artwork as well, so I'm actually really, really excited to go and try and see what's this about. It's basically in the 90s, 16 teenagers appear into a fantasy role-playing game, so it's also a little bit like Sword Art Online, that kind of tropey thing. Only 5 return. Nearly 30 years later, those broken adults are dragged back to discover the game isn't finished with them yet. Actually so excited about this. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching and hanging out with me. And before I go, I would just like to give the warmest of welcome to the new members of the Mooney family, which is my Patreon. These are the members that joined our Patreon family in the month of February, because it kicks in the month after. So welcome to the Moon Watchers family, to Becca, Francis, Christina, Shelby, Sari, Jordan, Sam and Lauren, and welcome to the Moon Messengers to Nikki, Vanessa and Daisy. Thank you all so much for your additional support. It honestly means the world to me. I hope you will enjoy the space, and I can't wait to get to know you a little bit better as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, stay safe and stay warm. It is kind of spring in most places. So I hope you're cozy. Okay, bye.